Hello.
Oh, it's so good to be back, you guys.
Lovely ladies.
So good to be back. Ooh, my lighting is a little. I just got alerted. Watch live now, Intuitive View.
Yes, let's watch it.
Let's watch it.
Okay.
Kim is working the board herself tonight, you guys. So
This is exciting.
it is exciting.
I am. Okay. So, all right. Yes, sorry. I'm doing everything wrong. Everything's
It's a little
great.
stressful for her, but we got this. We got this.
Okay. I swear I've been, yeah.
It's good to be back. We had a couple Monday nights off, but we're back in business tonight.
Yes. Well, kind of.
I see you in a different part of the house. Oh, because Cassie's home.
Yes.
Oh.
Cassie's home. So if you could see how this is set up, you'd be like, oh, professional.
Duct tape.
It's like books on boxes on. It's the worst.
Did she move?
Good. What's that?
Did she move back home?
She's here till December.
Oh, okay.
So she'll be here till the first week of December, and then she'll go back. And then I think they're coming back in February. So now that COVID is, we can travel and stuff, it'll be normal. So yeah, it's doable, but yeah, we hate to see her leave. It's,
At least you have another thing set, right? That makes it nicer.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And so Debbie, how's your mom?
So she's doing well. There's some remnants of the stroke, but it's doable. Like she can walk and talk.
Good.
There's it's mostly that forgetting. And I feel like one side is weaker than the other. So there's a little bit of weakness there. But yeah, I mean, it could have been so much worse. But thank you everyone for your prayers and everything. Like, I feel like, because I was just, and I know I've said this before in some other lives, so if you've heard this, I apologize, but I was going on live and I got the call. And I was going on with Denise and Lisa on Denise's channel. Spiritual Growth Tarot. And as soon as I got the call, and right as they were pushing to go live, and I'm like, oh, hold up, I have to get off. My mom just had a stroke.
Oh my gosh.
I got off and they went on, but they immediately sent out a prayer request for the whole situation. And I just feel like that all that community coming in with prayer
absolutely
helped. So I know it really has blessed my mom. She just feels so loved by everyone.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad she's doing better. That's so good. Well, good. How are you, Andrea?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Great. Of course you are. How's the weather in Canada?
A little cold, a little bit rainy. Whatever. A little bit of sun, whatever.
It's weather. I guess we should be grateful, right?
Yeah. Well, good. So we have 3 amazing ladies again to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. I guess I'm first with my pick, because we go by alphabetical order.
Wow.
For those of you who are new, and we'll talk about 3 amazing women. So my pick is actually someone that I feel actually kind of connected to, which is kind of weird. It's like when you look at our lives, it's like, oh, they have nothing in common. but I have some like parallels with her, which are kind of weird. But which one is that she and I share the same birthday.
Oh.
Yeah, October 29th. So she was, so my pick is Fanny Brice. If you don't know her, she's a performer, stage, TV, radio from the early part of the century. So she was born in 1891 and October 29th, 1891, and she died in May of 1951. She was 59 when she died. Her parents were Hungarian Jewish immigrants who owned a saloon, which is interesting.
Can we turn your mic down just a tad?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm all super loud. Sorry. I'm all ha. Anyway, is that okay? Am I okay now?
I think that's a little better. Maybe
a little better, a little more down.
You have a really good, powerful mic. Okay, that's good.
Is that okay?
That's better. Yeah, there was
okay. Sorry.
No worries. I just.
How annoying. I'm sorry. Okay. So she had 3 siblings. She loved music and performing. And at a young age, she dropped out of school to join a burlesque show, as you do, I guess. If your parents own a saloon, I guess that's what you do.
I guess so.
And she was not conventionally beautiful. So she was usually used as like the comedy relief in the shows. However, she made it into the Ziegfeld Follies, which is known for its like glamour girls, because she had a beautiful singing voice. So she made it into the Follies in 1921, and she would stop the show with 2 songs, My Man and Secondhand Rose. So that's the other not weird parallel, but this other parallel is that was my first solo I ever sang in public was Secondhand Rose, which is kind of weird, right? So that, yeah, it's weird. She recorded about 24 albums. She did tons of musical theater. She did radio. She was the creator and the star of a top-rated radio show called The Baby Snooks Show. She had 3 husbands. One was in her teens. It was very short-lived. Her second husband was a compulsive gambler, got arrested for bond fraud, and she used up almost all of her money trying to defend him. He was guilty, but she tried to defend him. He ended up going to prison, and she divorced him. And then her third husband was Danny Rose, who was a composer, and he did produce Broadway shows, and he was a womanizer. So she divorced him as well. And what's interesting about her is that, especially for the time, her looks were unconventional for the time, especially for being in the industry she was in. All the glamour girls and stuff, and she was very just normal looking, and she really put the fact that she was Jewish on display in the way that she would use Yiddish sayings. She would have, and it was kind of a stereotype in a way, but it was also unusual. And I think it really, I think it was nice for people to see somebody who was like them in this industry, because it just hadn't really happened before. And she paved the way for so many, which is like Barbra Streisand, who played her, people that were unconventionally, not the pretty glamour type, but could be themselves in a very authentic, organic way and not feel the need to change something. She was who she was. And I really love that about her. So let's see what she has to say. And I am really curious, actually, as to what she'd say about the obsession we have with plastic surgery and how we are constantly trying to fit into a box. And we've seen it in Hollywood, how people erase what is the most, the most striking feature about them, or they erase what is interesting about their face, or, women who can't move their face and they're trying to act. It's ridiculous if you think about it. But I'm curious as to what she'd say about that. So let's see what she has to say.
So the movie based on her life was Funny Girl, right?
Funny Girl, yes.
Oh.
And it was Barbara Streisand played the lead, and it's always on my top 10 like movie list.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have not seen it, you have to see it. It's just so good, so good. And it was a Broadway show before that. So yeah. Thanks, Andrea. I forgot that tidbit.
And I think that's what made Barbara Streisand a star, was that movie.
It was, yeah.
That was her breakout.
Yeah. It was. That was her. Yeah, her breakout role.
Fanny Brice. I love that name.
I do too.
I do too.
So it was Fania, right?
Fania, yeah.
But she went by Fanny.
Yes. And the third weird thing was that we went to a Hollywood cemetery, which we do all the time. In when we go to LA, we just go to different cemeteries. And we'd actually gone there to see Marilyn Monroe's grave, or her plate. But that's where Fanny Brice was buried too. So I just ended up kind of like seeing her grave. I'm like, oh, how weird! Fanny Brice is here. So anyway, those are all the all the little things that I feel just, I don't know, kind of connected or in some weird way. So anyway.
All right, Fanny.
Focus on yourself. That's the first message I'm getting. I asked what's her advice to women today. Focusing on yourself, and maybe not what everyone else thinks about, what you want, what you want to do, not what others are telling you. Centering yourself.
That is so interesting, because the first thing that came in was stand alone. And she's talking about how she had to really stand on her own 2 feet all of the time, pick herself up. She really had to rely on herself. And that women, she's saying women are always, always stronger than they think they are. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm getting chills with that. She wants people to know that women are always stronger than they think they are, and that was one of her things. One of the things she was most proud of, looking back on her life, was that she could always kind of pick herself up from wherever she was and keep going. But she did it alone. She did it alone a lot, and she relied on herself.
And with comedy, comedy is a great breaker of walls. So, if she's in a tense meeting or whatever, if she could make people laugh, they would be more endeared to her, whether it was in a meeting or on stage or in her private, public life, whatever. That was a great tool she had that helped her maneuver. She's very clever. I think she's very quick, like a quick wit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's very fun. There it is.
She just said to me, "Where's my name?" That's what she said. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, the banner."
I love it.
Always a star.
Yeah. She's like, I hit the ground running. I was born and I hit the ground running. I was one of those, I had a lot of energy, and I hit the ground running. And she said her parents were perfect for who she was and who she wanted to become, or, kind of open that avenue for her, because whether they had enough time for her or not, it was okay with her because it there was some challenges with that, but however, it also opened the door for her to become, because she had to rely on herself in the younger time. There's times it seems like she had to depend on herself to do things because her parents were working. So, and I don't know, I don't know if she had siblings or not, but she seems alone, but there must have been others.
She had 3 siblings, but I'm wondering if there was a big difference in age or something, because I agree. They don't seem to be.
It's not right there.
Yeah.
Maybe they all kind of did their own thing, but she seems to be definitely doing her own thing. But she created a world, a fantasy world or whatever, what you do to entertain yourself, whatever. She created this time. She's showing me as a little girl, kind of, dancing around the house and dressing up and doing things. And so even though that might have came in as a challenge for her, she's happy that she had that time to create, because then she didn't have any bounds binding her down. She just did what she wanted to do. She didn't really have that care about what people said about her or whatever, in some ways. But she does show me that there's times where I just, that she did struggle, just like any woman. She's like any woman would, wishing that they were the pretty one. It would have been a little easier, she said, but she didn't let that stop her. Of course, she didn't let it overpower her. She put her power into, okay, well, I don't look like that. I look like this. How can I use that strength? She's also keeps showing me her feet. I don't know if she felt like she had bigger feet than other ladies in the time or something too, but she keeps showing me her feet. Yeah, so there's things that she wished there were moments where she wished she could have changed, but then she would get over it, and then she would use it for her advantage. But she loved herself. But she does show me some shadows. Like there were shadow times with it.
Especially if people are insulting you.
Yeah, because that's exactly, because she says it kept.
There's only so many things you can hear.
Throwing up at your face. Yeah.
It's kind of reminding me of Joan Rivers a bit, like
Oh yeah.
Her being insecure about her looks, but then going through all the surgery, whereas Fanny Brice didn't. And then again, it probably wasn't as available back in the days of Fanny Brice.
Yeah. Oh, that's true, Jill. It could be that she always lands on her feet.
Yeah,
I landed on her feet. Yeah.
I got the strength card, so very strong and very creative. And then the rejection card. So I think she did face a lot of rejection romantically and professionally, but because she was so creative and so strong, she pushed through it. But I do agree that there would have been those times where she would have just been like, oh my God, do people have to comment on my looks? Like, really? I have talent.
Right. So I would be interested, though, if anybody knows about, because she keeps showing me her feet. So I think that maybe it could be that.
I got to look that up.
Yeah. Let's see if she ever talked about her feet. It was hard to fit her feet. Maybe. I don't know.
Was she tall or something?
Oh. I don't know anything about her. This is the first I'm hearing. Now I have to watch Funny Girl.
She was very tall, but I don't think so. I don't think she was very tall. So I was asking, Bonnie had the question of what she thought of Funny Girl and Barbra Streisand playing her. And I got that she wept. She's saying, I wept.
Oh.
And I saw, I feel like I want to cry, but she said, I wept. And she said, but I couldn't sing like her. If it's something like, if I could sing like her, I would never have done burlesque. It sounds like a joke, but that's what she's saying. But she's saying I did not sing like her. She had, but she's saying there were points that she was channeling me. Particularly in her, so I know what scene she's showing me. There's a scene where she comes out to face reporters after her husband has been arrested, and she starts making jokes, and she shows real vulnerability, and she's saying that vulnerable side that people didn't see, she was channeling me because nobody saw that.
Wow.
But she got it. I've got chills, but yeah, she channeled her during those
Wow.
Yeah.
vulnerable, more serious moments of her life that nobody saw.
And she was 5'6", by the way. So,
6, okay.
Not a giant.
Not a giant, but not a tiny little
Not
person.
tiny, yeah.
I think she knew at the time she was a pioneer, like in fame or whatever you call it. I think she was aware of who she was and what was happening. It didn't go by her. She didn't miss the fact that she was a pioneer and helping set the stage for women to come, that they don't have to be walking off the front cover of a magazine.
Exactly. Yeah, she's saying yes. That's on. Yes. Yes.
Celebrate yourself. That's what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate yourself.
She broke the mold. She broke the mold of what they were. Yeah. Stephanie, I don't know. Yeah, 5'6" back then, she would have been considered tall.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Should we ask for any overall message from her to all of us?
She would be hysterical to sit and talk with or go shopping with or whatever. Like, she would just be so much fun to be around.
She does. She has a very down to earth energy. I mean, as a spirit, as a spirit can be, but very down to earth. Very, you're right. Easy, very approachable. It seems like she would be a girlfriend, like a friend. Yeah.
Patricia says Funny Girl is having its first revival ever on Broadway this season.
Oh wow.
Kim's going to New York.
I know. I am. I'm going to get off this and make plans to go.
Immediately.
I got to listen to your heart. That's a message she wants to send through. And I think we sense that from her, where she wants to instill that confidence in young women or women of any age. Trust who you are. Trust your strengths and your gifts, your talents, whatever it is. Don't be quiet. Don't be shushed or pushed aside, or, you know what I mean? Like, just shine. There, just shine.
Just shine. And she says, don't be your own worst enemy. We're our own worst enemy, she says. She says, please, she says, don't be your own enemy. The world's hard enough on you. Don't join along. be your biggest fan, and just
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a similar. I got that she wants to tell us to do what we love, and don't let anyone stop you, and I think the same thing with that you guys got. Don't self-sabotage. Don't let your, because you don't let, it's like, don't let yourself stop you. Don't let you stop you. Do what you love. Do what you love.
Beautiful. Fanny. Yeah.
Yeah.
We would, I would love to hang out with.
Oh,
I know.
100%.
She has a lot of energy, but I wouldn't be able to keep up, but it would be fun to give it a try.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
thanks for indulging me, everybody.
No,
That was a
awesome.
personal favorite for me.
A fun
Yes.
spirit to visit. Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you for choosing her, for having to meet her.
Okay, so next is, I think this is your pick, Andrea. Is yours Marie Anne?
Yep.
Okay.
So I picked Marie Anne Lenormand, and she is the lady who invented the Lenormand deck that we use. So not the traditional tarot deck, but the Lenormand deck, which I know most of you are familiar with. And her story is pretty interesting. I was curious about it because making my own cards, I wanted to read on someone
What
else.
a great choice.
Right?
Yeah.
The more I read about her, she's pretty cool. So she was born in 1772 in Normandy in France. At the age of 5, she became an orphan. So her father had passed away, that her mother passed away, but her mother had remarried just before she passed away. And her stepfather went to get married again, and she had a younger brother and a younger sister, and the three of them were sent away, which he paid for. So he didn't really want them in his life, but he paid for them to be taken care of. So her and her sister went to a convent, and her brother went wherever he ended up. I think in a Catholic school, and then in the military. So while she was in the convent as a young lady, young girl, she was sort of stunning the nuns in what she could predict. And she was bang on with all kinds of stuff. So much so that the nuns went to the bishop and told him that they thought she was supernaturally gifted because of the things she just seemed to know. So she had also access to tons of books at the church and the library that they had there. So she was reading on all kinds of stuff of interest to her, like the paranormal or telepathy or whatever she could get her hands on. At the age of 14, she asked the nuns if she could please go to Paris. So her stepfather lived in Paris. He agreed to pay for her to go there. He found her a job, again, not in her life, but just financially, he agreed to take care of these children. So at 14, she got a job, again, impressing people with her gifts. And the story is at the age of 14, she got a deck of cards from gypsies, tarot cards. They think that's where she got her hands on her first tarot deck.
Ah.
So moving into her early 20s, I believe, she started she opened up a store calling herself a bookseller. So she really didn't sell books. This is where she did her readings. And at the time in France, it was against the law to do that kind of stuff. So the front of her salon was a bunch of books that she really didn't sell. And if you came in and you knew the password or whatever, you could go into the back where she would do your reading. And this caught on around town with all the elite. So she was reading for very rich and famous and well-to-do people in France. She got a letter from a lady named Josephine who wanted to know about her current situation, and she told her that she would become an empress someday. She turned out to be Josephine Bonaparte, who married Napoleon.
Wow.
So Napoleon also came to see her, and she told Napoleon that he would be great conqueror, but would die in exile. So, like, pretty amazing stuff. So she, again, she read from many famous people. She had, at the time of her death in 1843, at the age of 71, she had 500,000 francs. So she was quite wealthy.
Wow.
All of her belongings. So in her salon in the back where she did the readings, she had all kinds of stuff that she had acquired, old tarot decks or, crystal balls or whatever she had that she was, drawn to. But what I love is that she made her own deck because she, when she was reading, she found that there were certain things that she understood, which would help her be like so 100%. Apparently, she is the best reader of all time. That's the story. She is the most acclaimed best reader of all time.
Wow.
Yeah. So she made her own deck. When she passed away and she had the $500,000, she never got married. She had no kids. The next of kin was her nephew, who was very religious Catholic guy. They found him, that he was in the military. They located him. He came back. He burnt everything of hers because he was so religious and he thought it was a no-no.
Oh my gosh.
All of her stuff he burnt. So but he kept her money. Can you imagine? Right? Kept money. How do we have her cards? How do we even know about her cards? Her students, I have goosebumps. Her students made her cards because they had worked with her. They knew what they all were. They made her cards and called them the Lenormand deck. And that is how we know about her today.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome?
That's so
That is awesome.
cool.
Yeah, I got chills too.
I got chills head to toe.
Yeah,
So she was,
amazing.
clearly born with the gift. And apparently, sort of in concert with Fanny Brice, apparently she wasn't very attractive. in by standards, she was not very attractive, and I think she was overweight and whatever. She never got married. She had decided that she wasn't going to rely on marriage as a plan for her life. So she was going to, make her own money, and that's why she made her store and all that. And apparently, she never ever dated anybody. That's what they think. But who knows? But what an exciting story. You guys should read about her. She's really cool. And the fact that she's touted as the best reader ever, like the best reader. I think that's a pretty cool title.
Yeah, that is a cool.
Amazing. And what year did she pass away? Do you know how old she was?
1843, she passed away, and she was 71 years old.
71. Okay.
Yeah. So pretty long life in those times.
Yeah.
Marie and Lenormand. She probably used a Lenormand deck.
I totally got my Lenormand deck up. I'm holding on to my.
And I love it. She created her own deck, and I mean, I was just,
Lenormand.
Feeling a parallel to that.
Lenormand. You're right, Marvita. Sorry, we're butchering it. It's Lenormand. Lenormand.
Lenormand.
You don't really pronounce the D.
Lenormand. Lenormand.
Lenormand. I guess we're not really supposed to say the D.
So I'm getting that she made the deck. I'm not sure if I even know what it is like, but she made the deck from the world around her. So the things that she saw every day, or the things that she saw, she's showing like walking here and there. Those were she felt like the world around her was she's okay, let me get this right. It's almost like everywhere that I went, in every moment was sacred. And so she picked the things around her that it's like all the things, the world around me is sacred. And so she picked those little things she would see, she would come across, that she loved to look at. That's how she
Decided.
Yeah, that's how she found the idea for the pictures, I guess, for the deck. And she said she used to have visions, a lot of visions. So she must have been just crazy clairvoyant, very clairvoyant.
Yeah, they said she was. She knew she was going to Paris as a kid. She knew she was going.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Again, the connection, you're like, I wonder what it's connecting, because connecting to the last Fanny, was that her name, Fanny? Mm-hmm. Is that their early life created this space. So she really, lived in that in between, because she had to. It was a hard beginning for her, and so that created that spiritual, that awareness and connection to that world, to that, I don't know, I guess world would be other world, right?
Other world, yeah.
And so that's kind of where she kind of knew from very early on, she had this whole other family going on over here that started out of self kind of protection and turned into, oh, this is information, right? She knew things. And but it was always there, she said, but built on it because of her early life.
Yeah.
And she continued just to live in that. That was, and she kind of did build up kind of a thicker wall around her for self-protection. And she might not have subconsciously known that,
mm-hmm.
but that's kind of what happened. She put that exterior up, and she really focused on what she did, and the messages coming through. She believed in her work.
And had she had a different upbringing, may not have been as strong, but it became stronger, I think, because of the extreme difficulty she went under as a young child.
Yeah, it was in her, and she stayed committed and brought it to the people.
Mm.
So she's saying that one thing that she liked was like playing this part that people would be like look at her as magical and mystical, and were kind of a little bit afraid of her. And she's saying she played it up. She played the part. She even the things she wore, the way she would walk into the room, she kind of played the part of like, oh, I'm magical, mystical. It's like it was really fun, and really she liked to put on in a lot of ways. It's like kind of just play up, that what they expected, I guess, of her, that she was this kind of magical, person, but she's there's a lot of things about her that were very very down to earth, very, very normal. And it was a fun part of her life. And you're right. I think she lived in it so much. It was really it was where she was in a way most comfortable, because she can kind of be this other more
this persona or something.
Yeah, it's almost like a persona, like a suit of armor she'd put on, and play this part. And in her regular life, she would kind of more shrink down, I guess, shrink in or shrink down to like a what a woman, I guess, would be in those times. But when she played this part, it's like this whole thing. She could let this whole other side come out, and and she loved it, absolutely loved it.
And to be so respected by all the big wigs, right?
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go. There's a deck.
Yeah, they were asking what deck I
Mm.
what Lenormand deck did I use?
Obviously, we see celestial knowledge. She was very strong with that,
Mhm.
very connected. It took flight when she was young. And again, I think, given the childhood she had, it helped develop it. Terrible, terrible way to develop it, but nonetheless. Now I see starseed, so she was possibly from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe not of this place.
With you saying that, she definitely is saying that there's a connection, that she has had that connection,
Mhm.
a lifetimes there. I mean, other places other than here.
Jill wants to know, is she reincarnated? Has she? No.
I'm getting a no, not yet, but
No.
I feel like she is planning. She's not done, right? I feel like she's not done coming. I'm not sure it'll be here though. Interesting.
Right?
It looks like she's planning another trip. I'm not sure it's here. Celestial. Could be a celestial thing. Is that how you would say it?
I almost feel like it's not so much reincarnating into another body. It's going other places. Those entities aren't what we understand.
Oh, okay. That makes sense, because it's
We're
like,
not becoming another person, but sharing in the collective of other places. Does that make sense?
okay, because she keeps saying it's celestial, not this earthbound.
Right.
situation.
It's not tangible. It's whatever. I don't know how to explain it either.
Well, this is interesting, yeah, because what she was trying to show me that makes sense what you're saying. Celestial. That's the word she used to help me try to understand it.
In the sky, up above.
Celestial.
Patricia wants to know what happened to her brother and sister. Well, I don't think they were alive when she passed, because her next of kin was her nephew. So I'm not sure what happened to her siblings.
Oh.
Can you imagine he burned all her stuff? Oh, man, would I have liked to see in her room with what she had in her books and all the stuff she collected and learned from.
So disrespectful.
She's saying she never got over that. She never got over it.
Oh, goosebumps. Well, yeah. It's a wonder we even have her deck. Thank you to her students.
Oh gosh, I know. That's unbelievable.
And we know her story because of that. And thank God they named the deck after her, so there's no confusion.
Right? Oh my gosh.
So certainly a pioneer in what we're involved in.
Mm-hmm.
Carving her own way. Knew it. Talk about living your destiny. I mean, there was nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But that. And then making her own deck. Oh, I wonder if it was a download.
Yeah.
Well, you did say, Andrea, that you get these downloads and you get the.
My deck was a download, 100%.
Yeah.
It was just appeared. I think maybe she pieced hers together though, because Kim, you were saying things she saw and.
Yeah.
I wonder. I don't know if she envisioned it in her head and then made them. Feels like
it was like a combination of almost like seeing what she saw in the world, and then these almost like dreamlike pictures that she would draw on.
Because it had, I think the original decks, they had a card like a regular playing card, a number, and an image, right?
I've never seen them. I don't know.
Oh
Are they?
yeah, right here. I mean,
I don't know if I have a traditional one.
I have a traditional one here. Here's
Oh,
heart.
cool.
I think I
The
have.
whip and the broom.
Oh, well, I'm stupid. I do have old style Lenormand.
Okay.
Oh, you have an old, like an old style?
Yeah, it's called the
Oh,
old.
wow. Okay. All right.
Oh yeah. Oh, I do
Oh,
have one of
neat.
those too. I do have one of those.
Great.
So you have a card, so that would be like the Ace of Hearts,
Well, okay.
and a number, and then a symbol or something. So this would be the
Right. Oh, neat.
Yeah. So these do too. They have the little the queen down there. Queen of
Right.
Hearts. Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Oh, I just have the cross here too.
And those would be things. So we've got the lady, the cross, the king, the heart, the letter. These are all things that you were saying she would have seen in her normal day. A bouquet of flowers, birds,
Oh, it's over there.
gardens, ship. Yeah, there's nothing unknown.
Right.
Like
Right.
let's say.
Right.
Clover. So yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, those are cool cards.
Have to get a deck.
We're gonna get Kim using decks.
You will. Yeah, I know. We were just doing some last night, actually. Cassie and I were playing with cards last night.
What does she think of my deck? Ooh, that's a big question. I'm nervous. I'm too nervous. I think she would champion it.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm nervous.
Let's see. Wow. Okay. Because I got a lot of, and I usually don't do this first, but right in my heart just swelled. Like I felt it in my heart and soul. Like this is, she's saying, Andrea, that you did do it different, and that you actually, have this connection to your higher self and higher beings, and guides that brought this download, that you had that connected even before coming, that this was going to happen. So this is part of your story. This is part of your narrative. This is part of your plan. You're on your true life path right now. This is what, this isn't by chance, is what she's saying.
Wow.
She's showing me herself when she would get, she would take the inferences of daily life, but she's showing me herself. Of course, the tools that she's using are a little bit different than what we would use now, but and she has like a candle going, and then like maybe, I don't know if there's not a candle, but like a lampy thing with the flame thing.
Like a lantern?
Yeah, thank you.
Was it a lilac
A planty thing.
Like a lampy thing with the flame thing. So it's like all dark around her, and it would be like in the middle of the night, like so dark. She's trying to show me how dark it is around, but light right where she's bringing in the, whatever she's bringing in the drawing, and like bringing it down too. From what she, like you said, like what she would see during the day, but I feel like she's saying too that I was also connected.
Yeah,
it was a double thing with that. But she said that she's like, the true cards are those who really did you, like pointing at you when you get those downloads. That means that's something that is like a living item, and every time someone picks it up, it's going to mean something different. It's living. This is living, she says. And
Yeah.
it's the same with her cards. This is living. It's different every time someone picks it up. The energy is always moving and living, and it brings in a different message. And she said that she's saying how important that is while you're doing this, with that energy and the download, because it's all connected and it's a living energy. Super important, she says, and you have it.
Thank you for explaining
cool.
it that way to me, Debbie and Marianne. Yes, and that's why when people say, "What does each card mean?" I'm like, it doesn't. That's the best way to describe it. It's living. It changes each time. So I can give you thought starters, which I created, but
yeah,
it changes.
it
That's so
changes every
perfect.
time you
Thank
pick it
you.
up.
Living peace.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
She just is encouraging you. She feels there's many more coming through you.
This is true.
Yeah.
So, and I heard, my heart is pounding so fast. I don't know why. But
Really?
no, it's, I know it's so weird. But I just heard that Andrea, that she said you created and placed this beautiful thing onto the earth, and now it is sacred. That's what she's saying. I feel so dizzy right now.
I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she's so, yeah. It has real importance. It really does. It has importance in the world. I've got chills. Yeah, she's making me feel like it has real importance in the world.
Yeah, I'm seeing layers of importance.
Yeah.
So, layers of importance. So it's not just a deck of cards. There's layers of connection and love and guidance, and you can keep going, and healing that come through these. And she says, we share this
Mm-hmm.
alike. You, not me and Kim, you and her,
Mm-hmm.
You and Marie, Andrea.
Yeah.
Although Kim is making her own cards.
Yeah, it may take a while. Coming 2024.
Wow.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Marie she says she's a champion of all who want to bring light and guidance to others.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you, Marie.
Wow.
I mean, really, two really cool. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it, like really cool energies. Very, I don't know. I mean, it might be more intense to hang out with Marie, but I would.
I would.
Yeah, I would
too. Wow. Thank you, Marie. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Marie and Lenormand.
Good pick, Andrea.
Yeah, really good pick.
Great one. So now we're at Debbie's pick. So Debbie, who is your pick?
Okay, my pick is, let me pull her up here. Mary Edwards Walker. Let me go ahead and, she was born in 1832 and passed in 1919. And I want to show you guys a picture of her. There's lots of pictures, but I like this one the best. And she got in trouble a lot for wearing men's clothes in public.
Well, she looks so stylish.
I know. I mean, I just think it's interesting that you would get in trouble for that. Okay, so in addition to becoming the first female physician in the U.S. Army, Mary Edwards Walker is the only woman to receive the Medal of Honor. After her application to join the Union Army as a medical officer was denied, Mary, because she was a woman, Mary opted to volunteer as a surgeon. And while on duty in April of 1864, Mary was captured by the Confederate Army and held as a prisoner for a few months at Castle Thunder Prison.
Wow.
In Virginia. Yeah. By the time October rolled around, Mary had been released and given a commission. So finally, here's a real commission. You don't have to volunteer, as acting assistant surgeon. In 1865, President Andrew Johnson signed a bill awarding Mary the Medal of Honor because she devoted herself with much patriotic zeal to the sick and wounded soldiers, both in the field and hospitals, to the detriment of her own health, and has also endured hardships as a prisoner of war. None of this kept the Congress from trying to strip Walker of her medal in 1917. When it was decided only those who had engaged in combat would remain eligible for the reward. All right. Anyways, Walker refused to give up her medal. That's my girl.
Yeah.
Though, and she wore it until she died in 1919.
Wow.
She wore that medal. And as if Walker wasn't cool enough, she also was arrested multiple times for wearing men's clothing. She fought hard for women's rights as well during her time
But
here.
there's a reason she wanted to wear men's clothing, or because she thought it was healthier.
Yeah.
Not being constricted by your clothes or wearing long dresses that make dust fly up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And all those layers, your skin couldn't breathe. So she did have a rationale.
Yeah.
Right. And corsets and all of the other
All of that
nonsense.
She was trying to make a statement with that.
Yes.
Sure. I mean, a statement in that this is not healthy or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Which I love that. Brilliant.
Brilliant. So, yeah, so let's, I didn't really research her younger years or anything like that. You must have read a little bit on her, Andrea, if you knew that wasn't just I want to wear man's clothes. It was a health issue.
It was, yeah. And, obviously her becoming a doctor or in the medical field.
Yeah.
It was a legit thing. It wasn't just a story.
Right. She pursued that, went for that.
And I think her parents were pretty open-minded, right? Or like supportive of this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. So I'm just curious. Well, we can just dive in and see what messages she wants to bring through. But I mean, the strength. She was a prisoner of war. She made the choice to volunteer as a surgeon, even though all the other ones were getting paid because they were men.
Right. Well, that's what you had to do, right? As a woman, once again, sacrificing.
Yeah.
But she was strong enough to do that.
Yeah. Here's another picture of her. So.
And that's her wearing the Medal of Honor.
Her medal.
I was actually surprised that no woman, but then again, I guess I'm not surprised that she's the only woman ever to this day that has won it, the Medal of Honor.
And right. And there she is with the Medal of Honor on still.
Yeah.
And wearing her men's clothes. Yeah, Dr. Mary Walker is what they referred to her as. And she was born in New York. And what else? I guess I wanted to see, okay, that's what I wanted to know, where she earned her medical degree at Syracuse Medical College in New York.
And I think she helped with the suffrage movement and all these other types of things. So trailblazer.
Yep. Trailblazer. She was married and started a medical practice. She was married when she volunteered in the Army. Yeah, so I wonder
And her husband, she was married for a long time, I think, and he was fine with her how she wanted to dress.
And yeah, so he was fine with her wearing those clothes.
It's funny, and as you're talking, it's like pockets of civilization or communities or whatever can be far more progressive and understanding than the collective or the overlords tell us to behave, right? So obviously the people in her life, yeah, great, wear a suit, I don't really care. She couldn't be a doctor because she couldn't go to, couldn't get a degree or whatever, had to volunteer, but they would still call her Dr. Mary. So they, in these groups where she was, it was understood and accepted, but
yeah. Okay. So inspired by her parents,
yes.
she's dressed for health purposes. It was inspired by her parents. So yeah, she had that, and she was telling me that earlier in that before I knew that her parents were so instrumental, that she had that early upbringing of being encouraged to do things outside the box by her parents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the things she's famous for, which she thinks is ridiculous. She's like, why did it have to be like, there's so many other things that she did while she was here.
Why is it what she wore?
Why everybody, she's like, I also did innovative things in surgery. I saved people's, and she's particularly bringing in a little boy right now. She's saying, I particularly, so that she did something different for this little boy where it saved his life and limbs. Like there's something that like would have been different, but she came in and, so why can't it be a story like that? But of course, she's like, this is what women face. These
like walking down the red carpet at the Oscars. They ask the women what they're wearing. They ask the men, oh, how do you enjoy your studies or whatever you are, or what movie you made or something. Instead, it's the woman, what are you wearing?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But she did rock a suit, let's be real, and a top hat. Like
top hat.
I love it. Right?
Yeah.
I saw a picture of her really old and she had it on too. Let's see.
It was amazing to her how far society took this, and she was ridiculed by women. She was ridiculed by men. Of course, look how cute she is in that. Yeah.
And look how old she is there. That's awesome.
Yeah. You go, girl. But she literally, that freedom of circulation, that freedom of movement and circulation of your blood and like that. And she wasn't gonna, you could tease her all you want, but she was ridiculed a lot, like, and thrown in jail, like a lot.
Can you imagine being thrown in jail because she wore men's clothes? What planet is this?
I know.
Planet are we on?
Would that be a crime? Or was that because they thought it was like a sexual preference, so like a deviant, that kind of thing. I mean, who even cares? It's stupid.
It's so stupid. I think the top hat was actually a form of trolling. An early form of trolling. It's like, and a top hat. So there you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, really hammer home the point.
Right.
I
So
think
I was asking her about the medal, and she showed me her having to take to cut off people's limbs. How difficult and bloody and awful the work was then, and how people suffered. They suffered so much, and she was saying that that medal was about them. It was about service, and it would have dishonored everything if I just, it was earned. If I gave it away, gave it back, it would dishonor everything that
they had gone
everything, all of the service that I provided, and all of the people who had suffered. It would have been just wrong. So she held on to it. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. She was very science minded. And it wasn't just the clothing, but when I'm stepping into the energy and communicating with her, she's very logical. You know, that science logical feel to her.
Now, I see her trying to, what do I want to say, create balance and fairness for women. And she knew it would take a while, that she was in it for the long haul to do what she could do to advance women's rights. I mean, you can only have the choice to wear clothes you want to wear. Can we be real for a minute?
I mean, she literally was physically attacked for wearing men's clothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the past is so funny. Isn't it? Hardy har har. My great grandmother didn't wear pants till she was like 82 or something, 83.
Oh, really?
Because you just didn't, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't. No, yeah, Brenda's saying her grandmother was in her mid 60s with her first pair of slacks. Yeah. Isn't that funny to think that you just, as a woman, you didn't wear pants?
It's funny. So much of what it's interesting. I feel like my connection with her is not as strong as the other two ladies.
Exactly.
But I'm seeing a lot of pictures. She's not really, and usually I'll get more mind's ear kind of stuff, but she's showing me more pictures, more visuals, and like that's it. And so it's just interesting. I don't know if people are interested in that, but the connection for me feels so different than the other two. I felt like the other two women, I could just hear them talking. This one, I feel like they're like, she's showing me pictures, but yeah, I know she loved her dad. She's showing pictures of her father, and how much she admired him and looked up to him and wanted to make him proud, and just really just loved her dad. So I can see her with him, admiring him, you know, but everything's in pictures. It's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting celebrating yourself is the only freedom. Being who you are, wearing the clothes you want to wear, whatever it is, uh, being who you are is the only freedom you'll find, like the true freedom, expressing yourself, being who
all
you
of these
are.
ladies broke the mold in some
Yeah.
way. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You're right, Andrea, expressing yourself. It's
Otherwise,
they all
you're
broke
just
the
in a
mold.
cage, right? You're just in some kind of cage if you're not who you really are. Being your true self. That's when you feel the best, is when you're your authentic self.
Yeah.
And she's saying, for some reason, I had the insight. I knew, where, why was it me who, my eyes were open and I knew I could be me. I had the right parents. I had the right dad, all those father and all those things. But it was me. And so it was my responsibility to kind of try to bring that light to others, because that they just couldn't see. It was in their mind. They weren't there yet. And she saw that, and she said, I don't know why I was chosen, but I was. And so there you go. And I did my thing. And she's saying, yes, I was, the rights for women, it needed to change. It was appalling. The atrocities towards women, and being owned by men. And she said it was just living in that day. It's she says it's one thing to talk about it, it's another to actually live it. And how you literally had no rights. You literally are owned. And if you go and you have to obey, that's what you say when you get, I will love and obey. And then the church brings in a whole nother layer of being obedient, and the men are the head of the house, all that. She said it was lived out to the word. And so you had these women owned by their husbands, and it had to change. She's showing me seeing women with bruises and like that, coming in for or needing medical help. But of course you can't talk about it, and no one cares, because that's it's the way it is. What'd she do? You know what I mean? She disobey her husband. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it had to change. She said it was war, basically. And that's the piece you wouldn't see written down in under her whatever bio, but these are some raw truths.
Yeah.
It spurred her to remain strong in her conviction, and being strong in who she was. And I just have to say, Mary, you rocked the suit.
Amen. I think she's back already, and maybe that's why she's a little distant to find.
I think Debbie is fine. The one thing I keep seeing after Debbie's like this whole profound thing, but she keeps showing me glasses, and she keeps showing me like machines. So I don't know if anybody knows, or I don't know if it's in her thing, but I don't know if she did something with like, some kind of glasses.
Steampunk.
That's what she looks like.
She totally looks steampunk. She's rocking the steampunk look.
Ahead of her time.
The top hat. And totally rocking the steampunk look with her suit.
I think that the sight of her in, tops and tails, or whatever you call it, a suit with the thing, was just so extreme. But it had to be to jar everyone, to get their attention. Like, it was so extreme, because you didn't even have women wearing pants, and here she is about town in a suit and a top hat and her glasses and her war of valor of whatever it was called.
The Medal of
Valor of Honor.
Yeah.
Like just extreme in your face difference.
Yeah.
Her husband took abuse for this as well.
Mm. But he still must have been pretty cool with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was, and he understood completely, and he's, but he took ridicule and abuse from others.
Right.
Good for her. Just
Yeah.
kicking down doors.
Yeah, I think she has come back. That's
I
interesting.
think so too. When you said that, Andrea, I felt like that too.
Because I do feel she's far. The other two are very close. So because she's so far, I think she's here currently. And maybe that's why you're only seeing pictures and we're only getting a little bit of this and that.
Yeah. It's just different. It feels completely different than the other two for some reason. For me anyway.
It really does.
I think she's a little colder too. She's not a embracing, warm.
No, she's not.
Person. She's maybe a little bit more clinical and analytical. That's what I feel. I think she's back. I think she's an adult and quite possibly a man.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with all those things.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So it could be, that's why we're having a little bit of.
It's got to happen every so often, right? You can't like connect perfectly with everybody. It's part of it just is what it is. Yeah. But what a cool, neat lady though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really just, And you have to just admire that fearlessness to be able to just be, and it was a form of trolling in the 1800s. It's like, I'm going to wear a man's suit and glasses and a top hat and you're going to watch me. It's like, it's so gutsy, for the time. I mean, unbelievable guts. That's what it takes, to change things though. I think, we see that in our time. It takes bravery to stand up and, speak your truth and, do what you're here to do, regardless,
Yeah. So she's amazing. So she refused to hand in her medal. I'm looking at some of the comments. She refused to hand that medal back in when they asked for it in 1917. And she wore it on her until she passed in 1919. We all feel that she showed us that she has reincarnated and come back, and she is a man this time around, and she's an adult now here with us somewhere.
I'd say 40s, 50s, and I'd go as far to say a lawyer or a judge. That's what
I'm ringing on the judge.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. But her title was stripped, but I think it was reinstated in the 70s. I think that's what I heard.
Yeah, that's right. You are absolutely correct about that.
So way after her passing,
she kept the medal anyway.
Bless her
for title, but it was given back. In
the wherever they keep that record, they did reinstate her name, and she is on record, and the only woman to get the Medal of Honor. Really think that's interesting.
That is. Wow.
Fascinating.
Why did they want it back? Apparently they gave it, there weren't any other medals in the Army at that time. This is what I think I understand. You can look it up. So there was only the Medal of Honor. There wasn't like a Purple Heart and whatever else there was. So I think they recalled about 900 Medals of Honor or whatever it's called. Sorry if I'm getting it wrong. And hers was one of them. And she's like, no.
And they wanted to strip her because they said she didn't actually serve.
She was a prisoner of war. So how did she not serve?
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. I know, Mims. Mims like, what the hell? Oh my God.
Yeah,
exactly, Mims.
OMG.
Yeah.
Well, amazing ladies tonight. Great picks, Debbie and Andrea. These were really, really cool. Really
very
great.
Exciting night. Thank you, Mary Edwards Walker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really cool ones to meet tonight.
Yeah. And they're all, all broke some kind of glass ceiling, all broke, all just, and thought outside the box, right? All of them were real, did what they wanted in their own way. They didn't ask for permission. They did what they
True.
wanted,
They
but
knew
they did it in their
the
own way.
game, but they played it their own way, right?
Yeah,
They knew
exactly.
what the deal was, but they're like,
Yeah,
I'll do it my way.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. That's great. Well, great
That's
to see you guys again. I missed you guys. I missed
Yeah.
everybody.
You guys too.
Yes, I missed you guys. So I will see you guys next. Now, whose channel are we on next week?
Mine, right?
Okay.
Is it mine?
I don't know. We'll be on one of our channels next
We'll
Monday.
figure it out and we'll let you know.
That's right, Jimmy, yeah.
Family.
All right, ladies. Okay. We'll see you guys later then. Bye.
Blessings. Happy Monday.
Thank you.
Wonderful week.
Happy Monday.